We're back, episode 4, Tim Bolton Sugar Show. Been getting a lot of good feedback from everyone. It's like surprising both of us how much we're helping people. I guess with knowledge that's just kind of normal to us because it's been our everyday life, just trying to learn and grow and stuff. But then hearing all the feedback from the people, been like, oh shit, man, we got to keep going with this and stay consistent and keep helping. Huh?
Yeah, it's awesome. It really helps us um, have to learn and keep learning. So it's good.
Um, a lot of fan questions we've been getting though is like people talking about anxiety and stuff and depression. Like I've got a handful of messages of like, hey, can you talk about this or can you help me with this? And everyone's asking for like a fix or what they should do or a book they can read. And like, I think that it all could start, it starts with how you're eating, how you're sleeping, and if you're hydrated. If you don't have all three of those in check, then you got to get those three in check in first because there's nothing else that's going to like help you. There's not one magic thing. It's like boom, it's done. And it's not like oh we're all perfect, dude. Sugar and I go through shit all the time, fucking anxious or we're not just happy all the time. But like when we do get in those moods, we kind of know the mindsets we need to get out of them. We know there's something going on. We know like there's something we need to fix.
Yeah. So anxiety is living in the future. Your thoughts are about tomorrow or the next day or whenever. Just not you're not present. You're not here now. So that's what anxiety is. And we're learning this stuff from guys like Eckhart Tolle, how to be present, how to live in this moment, and understanding that there is no other moment besides now. And I listen to Eckhart every day. He's one of my before I take a nap, before I go to sleep. I have the app Audible, and he has a couple different books. A New Beginning, The Power of Now. He has a ton of books. Those are the two I've been listening to, and it really helps you get an understanding of what anxiety is and how to live in this moment and understanding that there is only one moment and that is now. So that's been helping me a lot.
Yeah, and we have a buddy that like is dealing with like kind of like anxiety and depression and stuff, and constantly comparing himself to other people and comparing himself to us and like what we're doing. We're trying to do all this stuff, and like I'm like, dude, you're focusing on all the things that you can't control. Like you need to be focusing on what you can control, and like all this anxiety and depression, it just like Sean said, it's not from living in the moment. He eats healthy, he exercises, doesn't sleep very well, so he's got to fix that. But like, there's three things you can do. You can listen to Eckhart Tolle. That's going to help you learn how to live in the present moment. You can meditate. That's the same thing. It's going to let you learn how to live in the present moment, not be anxious about the future or depressed about what happened in the past. Or you can do some magic mushrooms. And they say like you can reach a stage like it's almost like being on mushrooms if you learn to meditate really well and meditation's hard. You're not going to meditate for the first 5 days and be like, oh man, it's changing. It takes fucking practice and consistency. Like, I meditated this morning for 25 minutes and it was hard. My mind was wandering, but I kept trying to just breathe and bring it back, breathe and bring it back, just give my brain that complete break from just thoughts and everything. And it feels pretty good once you can stay consistent about it.
Yeah, meditating's um, huge. I feel like I wish we could learn that in school at a young age. It'd make it a lot easier trying to learn it when you're this old, not even having any understanding of meditating. Meditation's huge. I wish we could have learned that when we were younger, even though we are still young.
Dude, and our brain's just literally like an engine of anxiety and self-criticism, like, and that's why we said in the last podcast, like constantly comparing yourself to others and being on Instagram all day and being on all this shit, looking at everyone's peachy life, which 90% of the time that's not people's peachy life. Everyone's putting the best parts of their day and the best parts of their life on Instagram, so that's all you see. Fucking everyone I've met is going through their own shit somehow. Everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And like if you let it get out of hand and just focus on all that shit, like I don't know, it's gonna be fucking tough. Um, and like I said, first of all, get your sleep in order. Make sure you're sleeping good. Start eating clean and make sure you're hydrated. And then get a routine. Fucking write it down so you see it every single day and stick to it.
Right.
If you can't stick to a routine that you wrote down, then you're not in control of yourself at all. And you need some like discipline. So that's first things first. That's what I think. How did you feel like? We went, how many days? You went 3 days, no
4.
caffeine. 4 days.
Thursday, Friday,
Fuck.
Saturday, Sunday, no caffeine every day. I could tell. I was like, I wish I had
Dude,
caffeine.
we're more dependent on caffeine than we thought.
Yeah, caffeine's it's crazy. It's just looked at as a normal thing, which it should be, but marijuana is looked at as such a bad thing, and it coffee to people is hugely addictive, just like marijuana in a way. But I feel like going out or if I had to pick, you get caffeine or weed, I'd probably have to pick caffeine for training.
Dude,
Cause
for sure.
I couldn't just train with no. It would be hard. But maybe it would reset your tolerance would reset. You wouldn't depend on it as much after a while,
Yeah.
just with everything. But those 4 days, I was like, fuck, I don't want to do anything. I just want to be a blob.
Dude, I felt it too. Just like every little thing was fucking annoying me. I'm like, why do I have such a just
But
a
those are
bitch
perfect
mindset?
opportunities for you to realize why you're feeling this emotion and be able to kind of step outside of it and look at it from a different perspective and and change those emotions. Why am I feeling like this? It's perfect opportunity to do something like that and control your emotions and be in control of your own thoughts rather than like I'm feeling like this because I don't have caffeine. But I can feel like I can take control of my thoughts and feel a different way. It's a perfect chance to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And like same with that anxiety and depression. Like I didn't have the best childhood, but I had like pretty good parents who like cared for me. Like, and I think a lot of people had not fucked up parents, but parents that did certain things and engraved certain qualities in you that most people don't even know they have that came from their parents. Like what did Eckhart Tolle say? Like if a kid is sit there and crying, you say no, you can't have that toy. The kid cries and cries, and Eckhart says no, you can't. Or I mean, the parent says no, you can't have that toy. Kid cries and cries and says fine, you can have that toy. Keeps doing that and it engraves a subconscious thought in their mind. Then when they're older, they're constantly just crying, waiting for something to come and save them,
Creates a thought pattern in your head.
and live their whole life, and they don't even know why. From an age they didn't even remember, like so a lot of that shit. Like you could be holding on to a lot of stuff that your parents engraved in your head when you were younger, but you can get rid of it.
And like when people say they have a bad mushroom trip, it's really what that is stuff popping up and that needs to be taken care of in your life or needs to be talked about or thought about consciously. So I don't think there is any bad mushroom trips. Those are just things that need to be dealt with on a conscious level that's been going around in your subconscious that you don't even know about.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Where did we read that from? Yeah, where you have not having a bad. It's not like, oh man, those mushrooms fucked me up. I had a bad trip. It's like, no, that's shit that came up that you probably need to deal with.
Yeah.
It's like you said, that's pretty cool. But it's pretty awesome. The book I've been reading, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. Paul Chek is like, I found this guy on the On It podcast and Aubrey Marcus podcast, and I was like, holy fuck, who is this guy? This guy is so fucking smart. 57-year-old, like healthy, jacked looking. I was like, damn. He reminded me a little bit of Robert Fallis, but even to another level for how just smart and intelligent he was. And woke up yesterday and the guy emailed me. He saw it on the Anatomy of the Fighter video on YouTube, and he emailed us. And he has a holistic lifestyle program. I think it's a few $100 to do online, and he's gonna give it to Sugar and I for free.
Shout out to
And
Paul Check.
yep,
That's super
we're
exciting.
both gonna do it. And he said that we could either come to his house and record a podcast, or or we can Skype interview and have a podcast with him.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who Paul Check is, I highly suggest Googling him, looking him up, checking out some of his podcasts. He's been on Aubrey Marcus' podcast a bunch,
On it.
On It podcast. He's like someone who we can look up to, like want
Yeah,
to be like when we're older. Like there's not a ton of people I really look out there and think I want to be like them when I grow up. You know, he's someone like that.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Like his whole story is pretty cool. But and then also Sean posted a picture of
Yeah, this book I've been listening to, The Obstacle is the Way. It's pretty much about how obstacles aren't part of the problem; it's part of the path, and look at obstacles as ways to grow instead of things to run from. Make it part of the journey. Ryan Holiday's the author of that. I posted a story on my Instagram, and he messaged me back, so that was super cool. He's gonna send me a copy of that book and the sequel, so I'm super jacked about that.
And that's probably another person we're gonna ask to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be fucking sweet. And then our buddy Dr. Andy Galpin, we're gonna ask him to be on the podcast. A bunch of people that are just so much fucking smarter than us in so many ways that we're gonna bring on here and just like learn from them.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. We got practice here in about an hour and a half, so we're
Wrestling practice. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up too is making internal goals, not just external goals. Like I want this, I want that, but making internal goals. Like lately, I've been wanting to be more in control of my emotions, not just for fighting, but just to live every day. Not getting mad or seeing myself. Somebody pulls in front of you in traffic. I don't really have road rage, but everyone does. Someone pulls in front of you. You feel that urge, that like anger almost kind of, but stepping away from that and seeing how it's nothing, and not just the road rage, anything. You get in an argument with somebody, not being emotional and really trying to understand why you feel that way, because it comes from something in your childhood or something you don't like about yourself, and it's something you can, like times like those, you can step back and try to grow from that. So making internal goals. I'm trying to become more in control of my emotions.
and not let your emotions take control of you,
Yeah.
especially ones that don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are good at that. You're really good at that in fighting, just like, and we're all working on it outside of like fighting.
It's weird. Like I feel like I'm very good at that in fighting. Better at it in fighting than I am in real life. Like I'm trying to, because in fighting I feel emotionless. Like you said it in the back, I'm ice cold. I'm calm. I'm at peace. I'm truly feel like I'm in them now. I'm just at peace. And um, I think probably the anatomy of a fighter will probably be backstage with me next fight, and you'll see. I'm just calm and in peace, and I want to carry that over into everyday life and feel like that. So it's something I'm kind of working towards.
Dude, and it's fucking takes practice. Like, it's not like, I don't know if it was back in the day or whatever, cool to just sit around, be high, and just hang out with it. Like, it's cool now to read fucking books. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to learn and just like be smart. This fan question says, got a question for the podcast for both of you. What do you do to control your nerves and emotions before you walk out? You first.
I don't do any. I just feel like that before a fight. It's kind of I've had over 30 fights, and I think just kind of learned how to breathe. And me going into a fight, I always think I'm gonna go out there and knock this dude out. So I'm just sitting there calmly waiting to go out there and perform. I think breathing's a huge thing. Just really feeling like a deep breath go inside you, like just breathing backstage helps a lot. I think that's very important.
Yeah, it's nice having someone there to remind you. Just take some good deep breaths too, and like, there's a lot of fucking anxiety when you're about to go fight someone. You could get embarrassed. You could get knocked out cold in front of your friends and family. You don't get double as much money when you win. Like I said, you can't focus on that. And all those anxious nerves, those scared nerves, you got to turn those nerves into almost an enjoyment feeling. You're not going to get those nerves forever. And part of it, like, that's kind of why I fight. Anything that makes me feel like that, whew, kind of like scared. That's why we do it. And we're not going to be able to feel that for the rest of our lives. So when we're in that spot where we're about to make that walk, like, take a big breath and enjoy those nervous feelings. And then, like, you're not going to just be confident just from something we're saying you're doing. The confidence comes from training and putting yourselves in fucking tough situations in training. At the lab, we're sparring fresh guys every Wednesday and Saturday. Fresh guys each round. And not just fresh slubs, like fresh, really good guys each round. 5 minutes, scramble hard with one guy. Next fresh guy comes in. Scramble hard with that guy. Next fresh comes in. And you get mentally broke down Wednesday and Saturday. So then when fight day comes, we're looking at one fucking guy that we have to go 3-5s with. So like every time I've been in a fight, I've known I've done everything I could. Like, I've been gassed so many fucking times. This is just another day I'm about to get gassed, but this time I get to get gassed with one guy instead of three. So definitely just you're not gonna be able to just do anything on that day like, oh, I'm gonna be confident. The confidence comes from fucking the 6 weeks before.
Absolutely.
For sure. Um, Fight breakdowns from this weekend, like,
Oh yeah, we'll be there live.
well, no, from this last weekend.
Oh okay.
Jeremy Stevens
Okay.
and Aldo's like,
Ooh.
oh, It's crazy because you see people like, oh man, Jeremy Stevens isn't what I thought, or Jeremy Stevens was probably fucking ready to go, looked sharp, looked healthy, on a big win streak, lots of confidence. You get hit in your fucking liver, that's gonna change your mindset. And you can poke your friend in the liver and feel it, but when you're picture yourself the most tired you've ever been in your life. You can barely breathe, you can barely control your breathing and everything. And then someone fucking stabs you in the liver like with a 90-mile-per-hour baseball
Dude,
on
even
their
if you're
fist.
fucking calm as a cucumber and get hit in the liver, it don't matter.
Literally
Doesn't matter.
it'll paralyze you. It'll paralyze you. I'd way rather take one on the chin, on in the head, than take one to the liver
That's
because
why that's why I hate guessing fights. Like, oh, Jeremy's coming up, and Jose's going down. It's like, oh, really? That's what I thought. That's what
yeah.
I said. That's why I hate guessing fights. But
Literally, then if they fought the next day, Jeremy could knock him out
it's
the same
crazy.
way.
Fighting's fucking sweet. I love fighting.
Body shots are sweet, dude, and that's why I love like anytime for you or anytime for me. I get at a big scramble, a tiring scramble, wherever when you know both guys want to take a step back, that's your time to go forward and rip to their fucking body
Dude, yeah.
and make their like confidence and their mental just go zoop 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 by body
Go
shots.
watch my last fight with Andre. Every time I was going to, I was digging to his body constantly.
Yeah, in the every time or
Every time we took a step, every time there was kind of a scrambler, a combo, I was ending it with the body. I was coming forward, keeping him to his body.
yeah, and when you swept Terry on too in that fight, as soon as he was getting up against Kens, you fucking whacked him in the body, dude.
Took him down, let him up, kicked him to the body.
There's nothing better than a good body shot. Like when I was 18 years old and I thought I wanted to get into fighting, my friend now, this big professional boxer, Leo Bercier, took me to the boxing club, 18, just me and him. And he's like a grown man professional boxer, way bigger than I am. He beat the fuck out of me. He would beat my ass, rip me to the body, boom, drop me, and I'd be like laying there in pain. And he'd step back and he'd count to 8 real slow. I'd get up because I wanted to show him I had heart and how tough I was, and he'd come back forward and fucking rip me in the body again, and I'd fucking collapse again. Like over and over, he'd do that, and that was some of the most important lessons to me. That made me want to hit people in the body because I know exactly how it feels when you get just crumpled to the body. So ever since then, I like punching people to the body a lot.
Body shots are awesome.
Anything else on your list you want to do? If not, we'll do the book review.
I remember I was sometimes I just lay in my bed, listen to books, put stuff in my notes. I've been writing a lot. Not a lot. I've been writing more. I have what's that journal called? The 5 minute journal.
5 minute journal.
5 minute
Yeah.
journal. It's, do it in the morning, do it before you go to bed. I've been doing that, and then I've been writing just in this thing. But I wrote down in this. It says when you find yourself bored, it's a perfect time to learn. Read a book. Just open up a book. Make it a habit. If you do it enough, if you're like, I'm gonna read a book 30 minutes a day for a week. It turns into a habit if you constantly doing it, and then it's just part of your life. Now you're learning. Now you're growing. Now you're feeling better. You're learning how to deal with your anxiety. You're learning how to deal with your depression, and now you're helping other people learn it. And it's just we learn and we share the knowledge, and it feels good.
A lot of people too, like, and I caught myself doing it a lot too. People get bored, so they start figuring out things they want. So they start getting on the internet, surfing around, be like, oh man, if I get this, and then you go into a whole rabbit hole of just searching for different shit you want to maybe give you a little bit of high. That's never gonna end. You're gonna constantly be looking for shit that you want to buy.
What did Eckert say? I was listening to that. We're constantly surrounded by good, looking for bad. We have so much to be grateful for. We have a house under our head. We have a vehicle to get to work. Whatever. We have all these things, but we're constantly looking for what I don't have. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have the new phone. It's like, yeah, but you have all of this good things to be grateful for and thankful for. And so I thought it was pretty cool. He said we're surrounded by good, looking for bad. That
Yeah.
might not be the exact what he said, but something along that. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the human nature to just constantly look for something that's wrong, and not just sit there and be grateful for what you have. Like, I'm grateful I have a hot girlfriend. I'm grateful like I have a fucking warm bed every night. Like Eckert also said, like people laying in bed and their thoughts are going crazy and their anxiety's going crazy, making up all these stories that aren't even reality at all.
And I literally still catch myself doing this all the time. Like, I guarantee yesterday I was making up stories in my head, but I've been so good about consciously catching myself being like, whoa, what am I doing right now? Why I'm not in control of my thoughts at all. They're literally just going crazy. I'm not, and I want to get to the. You're never gonna get to the point where you're just. Or no, Eckhart said he said I think when I want to think. He's gotten to the point where he said he thinks when he wants to think. That's so. I think that's so cool. There's another person I really look up to is Eckhart. Just kind of the way he uses his brain. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Eckhart said he was depressed until he was 29 years old, and then kind of went on, started doing what he's doing now.
Yeah,
But
if you get a chance, read Eckhart Tolle's Wikipedia. He came out with a bunch of good books and stuff, and like Sean turned me onto this. Like, okay, I take a couple rips, have some good dinner, usually have some good sex, take a couple rips, and I lay there in bed. And now we've just been putting on Eckhart Tolle on the Audible book.
his voice is
Me and my
soothing.
girlfriend, me and my girlfriend, and we just lay there, and his voice is so soothing, and he talks super deeply and intelligently. Like, if I would probably listen to that 3 years ago, though, it'd go right over my head. I'd be like, damn, this is way too deep for me.
We did. I remember we listened to it back in our first apartment. I feel or heard something about it. And we're like, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah, it's crazy. The book review. Just we're gonna do a quick one. It's Tools of the Titans by Tim Ferriss. Like, I was lucky enough right when I had my first bicep surgery and I tore my first bicep. Like, this big book came out, and it's full. It's called Tools of the Titans: The Tactics, Routines, and Habits of
Show
Icons
the camera.
and World Class Performers by Tim Ferriss. And like, they interview Arnold Schwarzenegger, Shaun White, just tons of different people, and they ask them what they do different when they were 30. They ask them their favorite books. They ask them their morning routines or their nightly routines. There's just tons of gems in this book. Like, I could read this book over and over and not be bored. But this was one that I thought I'd just read. I'm just going to read one little section of it. This is Coach Summer, The Single Decision. We all get frustrated. I am particularly prone to frustration when I see little or no progress after several weeks of practicing something new. Despite Coach Summer's regular reminders about connective tissue adaptations, taking 200 to 210 days after a few weeks of flailing with straddle L extensions, I was at my wit's end. Even after the third workout, I had renamed them frog spaz in my workout journal because that's what I resembled while doing them, a frog being electrocuted. Each week I sent Coach Summer a video of my workouts via a Dropbox. In my accompanying notes at one point I expressed how discouraging it was to make zero tangible progress with this exercise. Below is his email response, which I immediately saved to Evernote to review often. It's all great, but I've bolded my favorite part. This is to Tim Ferriss. He says, "Hi Tim, patience far too soon to expect strength improvements. Strength improvements for a movement like this take a minimum of 6 weeks. Any perceived improvements prior to that are simply the result of improved synaptic facilitation. In plain English, the central nervous system simply became more efficient at the particular movement with the practice. This, however, not to be confused with actual strength gains." This is a good part. Dealing with the temporary frustration of not making progress is an integral part of the path towards excellence. In fact, it is essential and something that every single elite athlete had to learn to deal with. If the pursuit of excellence was easy, everyone would do it. In fact, this impatience in dealing with frustration is the primary reason that most people fail to achieve their goals. Unreasonable expectations time-wise, resulting in unnecessary frustration due to perceived feeling of failure. Achieving the extraordinary is not a linear process. The secret is to show up, do the work, and go home. A blue-collar work ethic married to indomitable will. It is literally that simple. Nothing interferes. Nothing can sway you from your purpose. Once the decision is made, simply refuse to budge, refuse to compromise, and accept that quality long-term results require quality long-term focus. No emotion, no drama, no beating yourself up over small bumps in the road. Learn to enjoy and appreciate the process. This is especially important because you are going to spend far more time on the actual journey than with those all too brief moments of the triumph at the end. Certainly celebrate the moments of triumph when they occur. More importantly, learn from defeats when they happen. In fact, if you are not encountering defeat on a fairly regular basis, you're not trying hard enough. An absolute refuse to accept less than your best. Throw it out a timeline. it will take what it takes. If the commitment is to a long-term goal and not to a series of smaller intermediate goals, then only one decision needs to be made and adhered to. Clear, simple, straightforward. Much easier to maintain than having to make small decision after small decision to stay the course when dealing with each step along the way. This provides far too many opportunities to inadvertently drift from your chosen goal. The single decision is one of the most powerful tools in the toolbox.
That is good. Reminds me of a lot of the obstacle is the way, knowing that there's going to be shitty things that happen, and just knowing that those shitty things are going to make you better, and you might as well learn how to enjoy when obstacles happen or setbacks happen.
And it depends how you look at those setbacks. Like, you can look at those setbacks like, oh, fucking poor me. This guy got way luckier than me. Or why do I have fucking bad luck? Look at it like, fuck that. Be resilient. Like, have a tough mindset. Just get over that and just keep moving forward. Like, it's easier said than done, but you got to do it. Especially if it comes to jiu-jitsu and MMA or fighting or wrestling or anything physical like that. Like, it's super important. But I think that's pretty good for episode 4. What do you think?
Yeah. How long was that? Good go?
No, don't kill it yet, Joe. But
You guys are at 27 minutes.
27.
fucking perfect.
That is good. I want to say thank you to everybody that's listening to the podcast, follows us on social media, messages us on social media. I was watching I play Fortnite and Twitch, and someone sent me a message a long time ago. I just seen it and watched it today. It was him, his reaction to my fight against Sukumtat. And so I watched the fight back and turned off the commentating and listened to him and watched his reaction. And it was before he said in the video he'd watched the last 2 fights. But I went back and watched it, and it was awesome just to see him get fired up and get excited about it and talk about how cool it was and how I had to fight through adversity. And just you guys messaging me on Instagram talking about all this stuff is makes me want to be better as a person and really learn more stuff and help you get and share the knowledge, and then you guys learn it and go and share it to somebody else and just create just be more kind and loving to everybody. And that's kind of what I want in life. It's just, and that's an internal goal I'm working on too, is being more kind and loving more. So
yeah, everyone's going through their own shit. But every time you guys post a story or something of us listening to the podcast, it fucking helps a lot. Like, subscribe and like it if you guys like it. But I don't know if we're gonna do a podcast when we're in LA, probably in the motel room, either before or after the fights. And then so that'll be episode 5, and then episode 6 I really want to talk about like relationships and monogamy and like how every guy wants to fuck chicks, no matter if they have a wife, they have a girlfriend, no matter what, like, and you're not a bad person for that. And like, just communication with your girlfriend and shit that me and my girlfriend have been going through, and like communicating and just being honest and just treating her like my best friend, like I treat my best friend. But in episode 6 I want to talk all about that shit and the stuff we've been going through and stuff. So thanks a lot. Peace.
damn it, we said it at the same time.
That's alright.
Best one yet, Joe?
It was a good one.